Welcome to Making Window Frames Part 1. I'm going to import a PDF file using the File, Import setting in Inkscape, or as I prefer, the click and drag. I'm going to click and drag a Scale Scenes house kit. Once on screen, you must select the page that you want to work on. It will only use one page at a time. I've selected page 1. After a short delay, this will appear on screen. And the first thing we have to do is to ungroup all of the component parts. So we click on Object on the top ribbon and ungroup. You will now see all of the groups within the group. And the only part I want for this exercise is this small part here, which are the 6 window frames. So if I click outside, there are 2 ways to do this. You can then remove bits one at a time until you've got the part left that you want, or, as I prefer, I use this method. I increase the size of the screen until I see the part that I want. I then click and drag around the article, then go to the top ribbon, Object, and this time press Group. That means the part that I want is now in that group. I can now click and drag the part that I want. What I can now do is reduce the size of the screen, click and drag around everything I don't want, and delete. Then increase the screen again so I can actually see the part that I'm working with. And as it's grouped, I can still move it quite easily. Once I get to this point, I then must click on Object and Ungroup. And again, you can see all the component parts. Click outside first, then click on the parts that you want to remove. Can be a slow process, but in this case, quite a lot are grouped together. There are now parts that I still want to remove, and if I increase this so you can see clearly, there are parts that I don't want for my final product, that I want to take out any unnecessary parts that I don't want to cut on a printer, on a cutting machine, sorry. If you wish to print, you could leave those parts in for the sash windows. If you leave them in for a cutting machine, the cutting machine will actually cut on those lines and make it impossible to remove the window frames. The bottom 3 would be as you send to a printer, and the top 3 will become as you send to a cutting machine. The next thing I do is remove these little frames, which mean that the cutting machine will cut to the larger lines and make it easier to fit into the actual building. Any lines that are in there must come out, or the cutting machine will cut those lines. The next thing you can do is to click on the whole object, and you can remove the coloured layers, which in this case the cutting machine won't recognise. So as you can see, the top 3 windows would be able to be cut on a cutting machine. The bottom 3 would be as you would print on a printer. Cutting machines are very handy, but they can only cut exactly as you present to them. So if you do leave any parts in, don't be surprised if you have difficulty extracting the frames from the cutting machine mat. Thank you for watching.